Welcome to Decoded Stories with the Norcode, where I sit down with tech professionals, creatives, and innovators to decode their stories behind their journeys. Like the ones you never get a chance to hear of. I am your host, Nyamiche Honor. Oh, we live.
We're
We
live.
live. What's up?
It's happening.
How you
Highly
feeling?
anticipated moment.
Very, very. How you feeling? How are you?
I, I'm feeling so excited. Like this has been long overdue, man. And to be doing it with you, first and foremost, I have to give you your flowers. Like everything you've been doing with Decoded Stories has been super dope. So yeah, shout out to you for curating a space for people to tell their story and inspire, man.
Yo, I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Let me swing it back to you. I feel like I've seen your journey from afar, you know what I mean? Before probably social media even like popped off. I take it back to like
Yeah.
middle school because I knew you in middle school, but we weren't close, but I think we were in different classes. And I feel like one thing that um drew my like you were always unique to me, you know what I mean? Cause you had locks, you was always fresh. Like you never there was never a day you came to school slumming. Like you was always fresh. And I used to go home to my mom and dad like, yo, like, mom, can I get some J's? Like, can I be fresh like the cool kids? You know what I mean? And so I feel like at a since like middle school, you've always caught like my attention from you just being fresh. Your locks are legit iconic. You know what I mean? Um, and like
Yeah.
you played drums. We both played drums. You know what I mean? So I feel like that
Yeah.
was something that it piqued my interest and it was like a common like denominator. You know what I mean? And
Yeah. It was
so
definitely a lot of synergy.
yeah. And I think we went to the same high school, right?
Yeah, lucky. Yeah, I remember like you being
Lackey.
in the marching band, like killing it. I'm like, yo, this guy
Hold up,
is
wait. Were you in the marching band too?
no. So I guess like when I got to high school, I just kind of like went through like trying to figure out what I wanted to do, like basketball, marching band, and all that. So I stopped
Okay.
playing. But I think if I would have went to a more urban school, I probably would have been more inclined to continue to do it.
Yeah.
But I just feel like we
Okay.
weren't. You know how the high school was. We weren't doing it like other schools were. So I
Yeah.
thought, but I always saw you killing it. I'm like, man, he's so talented on the
Yeah.
drums.
Yeah, I appreciate you. I appreciate you. And I feel like years, like decades later, we connect back on, was it LinkedIn? I think it was Instagram.
Yeah, might have been Instagram.
Yeah, I think it was Instagram was, and I think I saw you still dripped up, like nothing had changed. I was like, yo, ain't nothing changed. You know what I mean? So that was cool to see. And I saw you were into trading, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And I think
yeah.
this was before I even delved into tech like that, I believe. My dates are always off. So forgive me if
I
my dates are
know.
off.
It's a blur.
But yeah. But I saw you doing trading. I saw you like, doing tech. I saw you like on the big stage. And I was like, I told my wife, I was like, I went to school with her. Like she's been fresh. Like this wasn't just today. Like she's been fresh since like eighth grade. You know what I mean?
I know, right?
And
It's
so
crazy.
yeah. So shout out to you for like being consistent. Shout out to you for, and I see you also like paving the way for other people to trade, to do tech. And so shout out to you. I'm giving the flowers back to you, you know what I mean? And saying,
I
yo, keep on
appreciate it,
going, yo.
man.
Keep on
I
killing.
appreciated it so much,
Yeah.
man. Like it means a lot to be in a position where you can give people knowledge to acquire the skill set and then show them how to invest their money to, create that generational wealth. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
we're
dope.
doing great
Yo.
things.
Yo,
Charles
I'm
County
so
will be
excited
proud
right
of
now.
us.
I'm so excited right now. You
Same.
said who be proud of us?
Charles County, like we are a
Yo,
product of,
yo, facts. They listen, to anybody who's watching this and you live in Charles County, you can make it. If we made it,
no, for real. It's
you
possible.
can make it. It's
Anyone can make it
possible.
out, for sure.
Yeah. All right, yo, let's get to it. Let's get to it. I got some questions for you. So
Yeah.
we have a fun segment which I do for everybody. It's like a this or that. All right. Um, but before I do that, I do want to ask you this question. I've always wanted to ask you this question. Right.
Okay.
This is for me. This is not for y'all. This is for me. All right.
Okay.
Who or what inspires your drip?
That's a
Like
great
your
question.
fashion.
I'm
I'm
not
so
gonna lie,
curious.
it's gonna sound corny, but it's a generational thing. So, fun fact: my mom actually was best dressed at McDonough High School. I'm not gonna date her with whatever year, but yeah, my mom Joan O is a stepper. So, shout out to
Word.
her for dressing me at a very young age and just
Yeah.
showing me, not mixing and matching patterns.
Yeah.
Um, But yeah, I would say as of now, like present day, there's obviously so many fashionable people to look up to, especially on Instagram. I mean, you have Odell Beckham, Stephon Diggs, just Chris Blake Griffith. It's a
Facts.
myriad of people who, are doing it at a
Yeah,
way higher
yeah,
level. But
yeah.
yeah,
Nah,
yeah,
that's dope.
it
That's dope. That's
all
dope.
roads lead back to my mom.
Yeah. All right, but hey, shout out moms. Shout out moms. All right, so let's get to this segment. This is the this or that question. So I'm gonna ask you a question, and you just pick this or that. Cool.
Okay, let's
All
do
right, let's
it.
get it.
I'm nervous.
Now you got this. You got this. You got this. I'm more nervous than you are. You got this. I feel like the nerves are coming from just being super excited and like this
Yeah,
being overdue. You know what I mean?
yeah, for
And
sure.
so, hey, listen, for all y'all watching and listening, y'all bear with us. All right,
Yeah.
we vibing. All right, so would you rather have a personal chef or a personal stylist?
Oh, I'm gonna have to go personal chef for sure because I feel like personal stylist, like I think I could handle that, but like home cooked meals every day. I mean, shout out to my fiance, definitely a home, definitely somewhat of a chef, but
Yeah. Shout out
yeah,
fiance.
yeah, shout out to fiance, but
Let's
definitely
go.
going personal
Okay.
chef for sure.
Okay. Okay. What's your favorite food?
So like if I had to eat one food for the rest of my life, it sounds basic, but probably pizza. But as of late, I've been in my pasta, moment. So
Okay.
gnocchis, good Parmesan, scampi's, all that good stuff. Anything pasta, sign
Yeah.
me
All
up.
right. Hey, you sound like my wife. She's a whole pasta head. If you cut her, she gonna bleed noodles, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, I feel that. I feel that. Me and her are like locked in.
Yeah. All right, bet. So never have to sleep ever again or never have to ever eat.
Oh, probably never have to sleep ever again because like even right now I feel like I could go the whole work day and probably eat like once, which is horrible for my weight loss journey.
Yeah.
But if
Yeah.
I never had to sleep, like I feel like on those that period of time where I was only getting like 2 to 3 hours of sleep, I was a whole different monster. So if I
Yeah.
nip
Yeah.
that in the bud, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I always say that I would be 10 times better if I didn't have to sleep. Like
yeah, yeah, like
if
10x
I
where
have to
I'm at right
sleep,
now.
bruh, just keep on going. And I barely get any sleep right now. Like I'm getting like on an average, probably like 5 hours.
Okay, yeah,
If that
we
sometimes. Like
we got
that's
we got
being
to increase
generous.
that.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
being generous. Like that's terrible. You know what I mean? But yeah, it is what it is. We're gonna get better as time go. All right, so always have music playing in your head, but you can't control the playlist, or only hear silence forever.
Oh, that's so tough because I do have that little voice in my head where I like have conversations with myself. So if I have to lose that, that's a tough one. I probably have to go silence though. I couldn't do the uncontrolled playlist. Uh,
Okay, okay, that's fair.
that's that type
Have
A
an
kicking in.
Yeah, yeah, no, I feel you. I feel you. I feel you. Okay, I feel you. So have not unlimited, have unlimited access to your favorite luxury brand, or unlimited tickets to an event of your choice. And that could be like a sporting event, a music event, any kind of event.
Ooh, or unlimited access to a luxury brand. Like I call them and it's at my front door.
Say
Yeah,
less is there.
I'm gonna have to do unlimited access to the luxury brand.
That drip is crazy.
I need that. I need that.
What's your favorite luxury brand?
Oh,
It don't
it's
even gotta be
tough.
luxury. What's your favorite brand? Like clothing. It don't even gotta be like luxury.
Yeah, that's a really tough question for me just because I always love to like mix and match pieces. Like sometimes I'll wear like a designer shirt with like some, whatever type of jeans. It doesn't even matter,
Yeah, yeah.
but if I had to put an all-time favorite on it, probably like I don't know. I couldn't even give it to one.
Okay. Hey,
I
that's
couldn't
fair.
even give it to one. Probably
Okay.
most consistent over time, I would say is Nike, which is like probably
Mm.
not the answer most people were expecting though.
Okay. Okay. No, that's fair. Shout out Nike. Shout out Nike.
Yeah, like I love the high end luxury brands, but I don't think they innovate as fast enough
Mm.
compared to like other brands. So that's why I couldn't give it to one. It's like, you know, some of
I
the
feel you.
trainers are like 2, 3 years old. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, like I actually just started wearing Nike like maybe like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Like I could never afford it. I could never
No,
afford
yeah,
them,
the price tag is insane.
bruh. I used to always wear Walmart drips. So
Yeah,
it's like clothes from Walmart, legit.
but
And I just called
but
it
shout out
Walmart
to
drip.
Walmart though.
Shout
But
out
shout out to
Walmart.
Walmart though. Shout out to Walmart and
Legit
Target because those graphic tees you can. I think the great thing
fire.
about the era of fashion right now is you can elevate brands that you typically wouldn't shop at. Like I've enjoyed going into Abercrombie and Fitch and Gap and just some of the places
Mm,
that I was not in 2 to 3 years ago and finding little
yeah,
pieces and putting it together. So
yeah.
yeah,
And I feel like at the end of the day, fashion is what you make it. You know what I mean? Like
for
you
sure.
can wear something from, I don't know, a $2 outfit, and you can.
Yeah.
I think it's your confidence. Like if you can be confident and make it look good,
Yeah, like it's like, oh, you're setting the trend right now, and like we're in
facts.
such a weird era where people are expressing themselves. So it's really a time where it's like you don't even have to be in the designer; you just have to know how to put it
Mm,
on, and like you said, confidently show
yeah,
up.
yeah. Because I've seen
Yeah,
people like drip down in all like designer head to toe, and I'm like, I don't know, that don't look too
that's
good.
a bad fit.
That's
That
a
is a
bad
bad fit.
fit. That's a bad fit. 0/10.
Yeah,
Like we're not doing that. Yeah, man. All
yeah.
right, bet. So I think this is the last one. Be able to relive 1 year of your best life, or jump 10 years into the future. But you can only do that one time.
Okay, if I jump 10, do I have to stay stuck in that 10-year period? That's the only
You can
caveat.
come back. You
Okay,
can come back.
I'd I'd say jump 10. Yeah,
Okay,
like I would
I like that.
love to see. I would love to see what the next 10 years could possibly look like, and then come back
Yeah,
and
yeah. All right, dope. Now you're gonna be like a billionaire, live on some kind of like
yeah, like what private island are we gonna be
a
on?
private island. You know what I mean? Yes, man. I'm
Yeah,
be your
like
next door neighbor too. So just so
yeah,
you know.
Decoded Stories with over 10 million subscribers. Like it's gonna be
Whew.
crazy.
In Jesus' name, amen. Listen, I claim that, bruh.
Amen.
I claim that. All right, yo, so let's get to know you. Let's get to know you. So tell the people who, don't know who you are, like who are you, what you do at your job. Give me a little spiel about your personal life, like what you like to do for fun.
Yeah.
Kind of just introduce yourself, you know what I mean?
Yeah, this one's always tough for me because I hate bragging, but I'm gonna try to dive into who I am so that way you all can kind of understand me more. But yeah, my name is Alicia Ahl, last name pronounced like ALL. I actually am right here from the DMV area, DC, Maryland, Virginia. I live in DC, work in Virginia. I'm a technical program manager at Microsoft, actually. So we'll dive into kind of what that means and what I do on a day to day. But yeah, prior to that, as you mentioned, heavy in the trading and investing space, kind of options trading was my way into acquiring wealth really at a really young age, right out of college. What do I like to do for fun? Lately, I have enjoyed running, which is something I never thought that I'd be into ever. But it's a great way for me to like challenge myself and just have that personal like goal. Like next day I want to be better than what I was yesterday. Yeah, I am engaged. So shout out to that life moment coming full circle. I'm trying to think about what else about me. I'm a very funny person. Like I don't take a lot of things too seriously. I'm always making jokes probably at the wrong times. And and like yeah, I really enjoy like living life and being present in the moment. I think the past few years have taught me to appreciate like where I'm at right now instead of like always chasing, the next
Mm,
thing.
mm.
And I love helping people.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
that's like I'm just put on this earth to serve. Like my mom and grandmother are the same way. So yeah,
yeah,
whenever I can help people give out any game, that's what really like charges my battery up at this juncture. But
yeah.
let me know if I missed anything.
No, I
Like
think I think you covered it all. Like once again, shout out to you. Like I feel like you're killing the space and everything you just said. Like I can see that. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Especially with you helping out people, giving gems, and people don't understand how much it how I don't want to use the word draining, but how
yeah,
much time consuming it is to give gems and to think about other people and to stop what you're doing and create content so that the next man, next person, next gal can benefit from that. You know what I mean? Or can get
yeah,
some kind of like encouragement. So I feel like people don't see like the time we put into that. You know what I mean? And I see you like on
yeah.
a week, like a day to day basis, putting out content. Like
Yeah, it's like they don't understand that it's a lot more than just pressing record on a camera, like so much goes into
yeah,
the preparation side of it. And
yeah,
so like shout out to all the content creators out there in any space who are, doing that because it really does it's a full-time job in itself,
yeah, yeah.
showing up and helping people. But that one person tells you that they got success from it, it just immediately makes all the time put in worth
Nah,
it. So
facts,
yeah,
facts.
very
Yeah.
rewarding.
So do you ever like create content and you're like, man, this is not hitting right now. Like this is not about
Yes.
to hit on
It's
no
not about.
soil, like fertile ground. Like, do you ever feel that way? And if so, like how do you like overcome that? Because content creation, yo, is not it's not easy, yo.
It's not for the weak,
Motivating people is
especially
not easy.
no, like especially on these digital platforms, right? Like when you do it in person, you can gauge the audience and tell who's engaged, who's feeling it, and
Yeah,
tailor
yeah,
to that. But now you just put this out there and you don't even know what's going to happen with it. It's definitely been some moments where I felt like my content got, dry or stale. Primarily because like I know what I want it to look like, but I don't necessarily have that creative level to execute how I would want it to look.
yeah,
But I think it's really just like embracing the journey, understanding that where you're at right now and what you're doing right now is just something that you're going to look back on and show people like this is where I was at last year, right? Like they're going to see the growth over time. And I think it's more important to just consistently show up and engage than get caught up on like having the most expensive mic and having like
mm,
the most expensive camera and all of those things.
yeah,
Um, I'm finding out now that people actually appreciate like the raw and authentic kind of Instagram look, not the cinematic. I mean, I love the cinematic stuff, but things that just feel more organic. So I just say consistently push through and
yeah,
try to stay up to date with what the algorithm is doing. That's a piece of it too. It's like the
yeah,
rules are always changing. So um, yeah, I kind of miss those days where we were just on stories. But I love the
yeah,
impact that reels have had in like reaching people who typically
yeah.
wouldn't find
I
your page.
Yeah, I think it's interesting, and I think that let me. I'm gonna probably give you like 1,000 flowers on this episode here. So just bear with me, all right? I hope you
Yeah, for
have
sure.
enough storage for all these flowers. But like once again, I'm giving you your flowers again because piggybacking to what you just said, like there's some times where we might not feel like creating content, or it's like yo, like do I even have, like you said, do I even have the expertise or the kind of camera to capture like the message I want to actually like send across? You know what I mean? And that's something I struggle with a lot, like a lot. And we had a prep phone call for something else that's in the works that I'm not going to share yet because that's in the works. Uh,
Oh.
I can't wait for that, by the way. Um,
Yeah, we gotta talk offline.
yeah, we're gonna talk offline. We're gonna talk offline. But you said something. You were like, "Yo, you really appreciate the way I do my content. Like, it's a sprinkle of education. It's a sprinkle of seeing my family. It's a sprinkle of this." And I led the conversation. I felt so encouraged. I was like, "Wow!" Like, here I am
Yeah.
trying to not show my not saying I'm not trying to show my kids, but here
No,
am
I
I
feel
not.
that.
I'm trying to like
Yeah.
I'm trying to live this life of a I'm gonna just be real. We on a podcast. I'm gonna just be
Yeah.
real.
Yeah.
I'm
Keep it
trying to
real.
live this life of like a bachelor or like someone who's in tech that doesn't have all these kids,
Yeah.
that lives on like a high rise building. But it's like, yo, I
Yeah.
got a big family.
Yeah.
I can afford to live on a high rise building. And even like when I say I can afford to, I'm not talking about like monetary. I'm talking about
Yeah.
like, is it child
Is it?
proof?
Yeah. Like, is it safe
You
for
know what
your
I mean?
family? Like, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I can be shooting a video and my kids will run inside like, Dada, I'm hungry. And I'm like, let me cut this off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
with you telling me that like that encourages you, it was like, wow, like, okay, here I am trying to like downgrade myself to be like somebody else. But like
Yeah.
what I have, like me, my life is like top tier.
Yeah, like that's the beautiful thing about living in your truth is like you never know why God positioned you in a way of like what your story is gonna resonate with someone else. Like I'm
Yeah.
looking at you like, man, I'm over here like I don't know if I'm ready to start a family because I don't know if I'm gonna be
Mm,
able to balance all these things. And then logging in and seeing you with your family and still crushing it, it's like it's giving me hope that it's like okay, people out here are able to do it. So it's like it's just so important to highlight like what your story is because it's always going to inspire someone specifically. The people who are looking for the
yeah.
bachelor and the high rise and stuff, like they'll find that creator, but like bro, it's something
Mm,
special about what you have going on and people want to see it for sure. So like yeah, I'm
that's
glad you
dope.
show it. I'm
That's
glad you show the
dope.
duality of it.
That's dope. Yo, long story short, like be grateful for wherever God has put you because somebody's looking at it and it's like, yo, I wish I had that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like one
And
of my
and when you
man's
make it,
go
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 ahead,
ahead, go
go
ahead.
ahead. Go
Now go
ahead.
ahead. You got it.
No, I was just gonna say like to piggyback on that, and like when you make it and you tell your story, like it's gonna inspire someone to say like if they could go through all that and make it, like I can do it too for sure. So, but
Yeah.
what were you saying about your man's?
Now say one of my mans, he bought a house, and I was, he was on the phone chopping it up. What I mean, congratulated him here and there. He got a couple of houses actually, so shout out him. I'm gonna have
Yeah,
him on the podcast too because he's a crazy guy. He's genius.
a beast.
He's also in tech too. He's a software engineer. But anyways, yeah. So we was chopping it up. You know what I mean? And I was like, "Yo, man, like I can't wait till I get the house. I can't wait till I buy a house. Blah blah whatever." And he was like, "Yo, like you out here saying you can't wait to get a house, and he's in the house. He has a couple houses, and he's lonely in the house. There's
Yeah,
nobody in the house. He comes home. There's no partner to cook him dinner, breakfast, nothing. It's just
yeah,
him and his
yeah,
big ass house. You know what I mean? And he's like,
yeah.
"Yo, like you're renting, but you have a full house. You have a home.
You have a
You know what I
home.
mean?" And
Yeah,
that was like, bing. Like
yeah.
I'm over
Oh,
here like, yo, you come to the house, let's go. And obviously, yes, there's a level of I'm giving you flowers for, accomplishing things, right? But it's also perspective where it's like, all right, bet. Like I'm also doing good myself. You know what I
yeah.
mean? And so, yo, I feel like, yeah, like you said, wherever you find yourself in life, just appreciate it, man. Just appreciate it.
Yeah, because it's like you really go through a cycle with like acquiring money. Like you get to a certain point where like you're so focused on it, you prioritize it over all these things. And then at some point you realize that like what was most important, like you had the whole time, which is like your
Yeah.
family, your
Yeah.
friendships, your
Yeah.
peace, your happiness. Now you still need to go make some money for sure. Like it's
Facts.
gonna bring a level of happiness.
Yeah.
But like you said, like those intangible things, like you could lose it all tomorrow if you have your
Yeah.
like God willing that does not happen. But as long as you have your family, like man, you'll be all right.
You good. Yeah, you good.
Yeah.
Man, that's beautiful. All right, so let's get into like your background. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Let's get into like middle school, high school. Who was Alicia? Did you know that you were gonna like did you know that you would, did you have a passion for tech? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What did you want to be? Was it always tech? Was it something else? Like give me a little background story.
Yeah. So like my dad will tell you, like at the youngest age, I said I wanted to be an aerospace engineer. Like I was gonna work at NASA. Like that's immediately who I knew I was gonna be.
Yeah.
Um, like my introduction into tech specifically though, well, my introduction into engineering started at a high school level. So I actually didn't live in the county. Well, I lived in the county, but I didn't live at the school that I was zoned to go to. Like my grandparents were like my daycare, so I was able
Okay.
to go to school in like Bryan's Road area from their address, like elementary school, middle school, because they were watching me. And so when it's time for me to go to high school, my mom applies for the waiver again, like we do every year. And I actually got denied. Like Mr. Short, like rest in peace, was like, no, you cannot come here.
Come
And
on,
so
Mr. Shorts.
I was like, no, like all my friends are here. Like I have to get into this school. And so shout out to my mom. She was like, well, they have this engineering program at Lackey. If you like apply and get in, then you can go to the school. So my grades were right in math and they let me come in. And so like through that engineering program at Lackey, each year I got exposed to something different in engineering. Like one year was aerospace, the next year might be like electrical, mechanical. So I was learning all these different components of it. And so like that was really my way in was like kind of, something that's why like when one door closes, you have to look at what the opportunity is because it's like
Yeah.
if I would have just been upset about that and didn't take any action, who knows where I'd be, but like it was like this door had to close so you can go through this engineering program and go on to be an engineer. So
Yeah.
yeah,
No,
man.
that's dope. That's dope. So what I'm hearing is you've always wanted to be some kind of like engineer.
Yeah, like I've known like my
That's
whole
cool.
life. I
That's
might have said
cool.
like lawyer in like kindergarten, but like
Yeah.
8 and up, engineer,
Yeah. Okay.
which
And
is
so I'm
weird.
guessing I'm guessing your grades were pretty solid in high school, middle school, high school.
Yeah, I was like always that like sneaky person who was like on honor roll and like getting good grades, like
Yeah.
3.5 my and above, like my whole life or whatever. But like always hanging out with the bad kids or
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
whatever, like
That's funny you say that because like I always saw you as like so for me I wasn't
Mhm.
cool in high school or middle school.
Yeah,
I wasn't
yeah.
cool until you
No,
said yeah like yeah you wasn't cool.
no, I just feel it like it's like I don't know. I feel like we had those people in our school as like that, like you knew who all the cool
Yeah,
kids were,
yeah,
and then
yeah,
it was
yeah.
just like, and then I feel like it was just everybody else. Like I
Yeah.
feel you on that because like I didn't fit into like a clique. I feel like we had like football cliques, and then like
Mm.
I didn't have any of that. I was just
But I
me
feel like you
floating
fell into like
around.
the cool clique. Like I didn't start getting cool until like 11th grade. That's when I started running track and playing soccer, and I was pretty good at that.
Well, see,
So
I'm
then
a
like,
year behind you, so when I was in the
mm,
ninth, you was in the 10th, so I probably
yeah,
didn't see that perspective of it. When I came in, it was
okay,
just like, yo, he's killing it, everybody,
yeah,
like, but I thought you meant like into that little like the little clicks that they had,
yeah.
but
No, I mean,
yeah.
cause you came in like as a freshman, I'm like, yo, this girl's like hanging out with all the cool kids. I'm like, yo, how can I get in this clique? Yo, how can I? But I just wasn't, you know what I mean?
I just
But
got
I
blessed.
don't know.
My older brother like kind of had me under his wing a lot. He was 2 years older than me. He ended up going to
Okay,
a different school, but like
okay,
he kind of him and my older cousins kind of introduced me to a lot of people. So I knew
yeah.
like upperclassmen kind of coming into school or
Gotcha.
whatever. But
Hey, that always helps. That always helps. So talk to me about like college, right? So
okay,
after high school, I know they had like college fairs and whatnot here and there. That will come to like Lackey, right?
yeah.
So talk to me about your college. How did you choose the particular college that you went to? How did you choose your major? And how was freshman year? I'm curious because I know a lot of people party freshman year. How was it?
Yeah, my process to going to college was really like a traumatic one because, my best friend Jawan ended up passing away like my senior year. So
Yeah.
here I am on this high, like he was in the engineering program with me. And so we're like, we're gonna go to this school, we're about to do all these great things, like, we're getting into prom and all that, and then it's just
Yeah.
like boom, like smack like a brick wall.
Yeah. Yeah.
So basically I ended up going to community college my first year, like right out of college, right out of high school, because like I just wasn't focused. I didn't know where I wanted to go, like
Mm.
completely shifted everything for me.
Yeah.
It ended up being a huge blessing though, like all of the scholarships that I got, because I thought I was going away to a university, came back to me in a refund check while I was at CSM. So, like tuition is like 2,000, $3,000 a semester or something like that. I'm planning to go to schools that are like 20,000 a year. So it's like my first semester, I'm like, oh, I can get paid to go to school. This is pretty cool. Um, but that was actually like my first reality check of like I have to really focus up or yeah, I'm not gonna make it through college basically. Because like I was so focused on like partying, having fun, grieving the loss of a friend that I wasn't really showing up to class how I should have. So I got that refund check, but also went on academic probation at like the end of that year because my grades were
Mm.
just like the worst
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
could ever be.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, shout out to staying consistent, right? So I start just paying for school out of pocket. I'm interning in the government while I'm doing this.
And
And
this
I'm
was
just
still
like,
at CSM?
yeah, I got my associate's degree from there. So
Okay.
I
I didn't
stayed
know
there
that
for a
word.
bit.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so I stayed there the entire time and then transferred out to Morgan State.
Mm.
And so like selecting Morgan was a little bit different because it was like, okay, I wanted to go to a school in state. That way all my credits transferred over. And then I was looking for the best, cheapest in-state school because at this point, like I'm paying out of pocket for everything.
Yeah.
And just kind of shout out to like placement. Like I feel like I give a lot of like credit to the people in my life because I always just got like one gem at the right moment that opened a door. But at my internship, there was a lawyer who lived out in Baltimore. He was a black man. And he said like you need to look into Morgan over Howard because like Morgan has a really great engineering program. Howard has a name, but like Morgan is going to get you right for lack of better words.
Mm.
And so like he talked me off that cliff of going to Howard because I was about to sign away my entire life and be in a bunch of student loan debt just for the opportunity to network.
Yeah.
And after he said that, I looked into the program and I saw that like top companies come and recruit on campus, and I was like, it's a no brainer to go here. And so yeah, that was like my segue into like a full year school, transferring
Mm.
out, going to Morgan, and kind of like restarting all over again with meeting people,
Yeah.
being the new kid on campus, like you said,
Yeah.
not being in the cool cliques, and
Yeah.
yeah, getting it done.
Yeah. So you got your associates from CSM. I went to CSM too. So shout out
Oh,
CSM.
shout out to CSM.
Nah,
That's
big shout out to
crazy.
CSM, yo. So
Yeah.
I'm guessing you went to, was it Morgan State?
Yeah, Morgan State University in Baltimore.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you went there for another 2 years to get your bachelor's, right?
Yeah, so I actually spent 6 years in undergrad. This is crazy to
Okay.
say.
Okay.
So Obviously my first year was a wash because of my grades, right? And then I was already on like a 5 year program to finish engineering. Like most engineers finish in 5 years, like four if you're a brainiac. So yeah, like talk about staying super consistent, seeing all of your
Mm.
friends graduate like almost 2 years earlier. They're out with their real jobs, and here you are like still living the life of a broke college student. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. How did that make you feel? Like, were you at any point where you like, all right, bet, screw this, I'm giving up, or at any point where you like, all right, let me go a easier path?
no. So like giving up was never an option for me. I was like, I don't care how long it takes, I'm gonna see this through. And it was really for three reasons. One, I felt like my best friend who passed didn't have the opportunity to even like go to
Mm,
school. So it felt like I kind of had to see it through for him. And then two, like my mom, I guess, invested so much into like me going to school and being an engineer, and just like she would drive from Waldorf to Baltimore to drop off like home cooked meals like every Sunday, just like the
wow.
little things like that. And so it's like, what is it to just put in this time and get it done? And then like last but not least, ultimately my grandmother as well. Like she didn't have the opportunity to go to college because she had got pregnant her freshman year of college, so she wasn't able to go. And so like she always instilled in like my mom and in us like the importance of an education, going to college. And so I kind of just had too much banking on me to give up and quit. It was
Yeah,
like I
yeah,
gotta see this through and get it
yeah,
done.
yeah. No, that's beautiful. I feel like having that motivation, it definitely like keeps you grounded whenever like trials or like tough times come up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like you had like three really solid like reasons to just keep on going.
Yeah, you got to find a why. Like, if you want to be successful in life, you have to have something that's going to push you to like
Mm,
claw and nail at it until it happens. Because if not, it's like it's so easy to just give up and go do something else.
yeah, yeah. Yo, that having a why, man. Like, I feel like
Yeah,
I lived most of my adult life without having a why,
yeah.
and it wasn't until I got married and had kids, and I feel like I had like a why. Those like
Battery in
any
your
even,
back.
bruh, like Energizer, like Energizer battery in my back. Like it was like,
Yeah,
because if it's just you, I mean, what is there to fight for? It's like, all right, bet it's just me. You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Like,
We're like a small speck in this world, but if you have people who are looking up to you, if you have, like for you, your three main whys, me, for me, my family, like my wife, my three daughters, you know what I mean?
yeah,
It's like, yo, you can't quit. And the funny thing is, if you have that mentality, you're able to apply that mentality to everything. Like yesterday I was in the gym lifting and I hit a PR on the bench. And
okay.
I
Shout out
almost
you.
didn't hit. Shout out, shout out, shout out. That chest is chesting, you know what I mean? And I almost didn't get it up. Like
Yeah,
I
it
almost
was like
didn't like yeah, and you know what helped me was my daughters.
really. How does that correlate?
It was like it was like because I'm using is it called the Smith machine? So it wasn't a free bench. So you can just give up
Yeah,
anytime, just rack the machine.
yeah. You could just rack
And
it. Yeah, twist it forward. Yeah.
so it was like, all right, I'm about to rack it. And it was like, no, like if your daughters are here right now, will you tell them she quit? Like you're halfway there. Will you tell them that you just quit? And I was like,
Yeah,
nah. And yo, when that like it all happened so fast as I'm pushing. It happened so
yeah,
fast. And when I tell you that, when I realized that, I was like, I can't let my girls down. I can't come home like, yo, daddy quit. Like
yeah.
new PR,
That's
just
crazy.
like that.
It's crazy how you can push when it's like, and those are those micro moments where you hold yourself accountable. Like when no
Mm,
one else is watching, no one else knows, but you're like, no, I'm going to push through and win. Like it really develops some mental toughness to just
yeah,
continue
yeah,
going, man.
yeah.
But that's
Nah, it's
crazy, man. Your
beautiful.
girls must be your world because I know that weight was heavy.
Listen, nah, it was
Because I
heavy.
know.
It was heavy. Listen, I'm telling you, you know what I mean? But yo, so let's talk about this. So you haven't, you lost a loved one, you lost your best friend, life is lifing, not doing so good the first year of college.
Yeah,
Went to a community college, which most people frowned upon. Because I,
for
I
sure.
remember like in high school, the people who went to CSM, I was one of the people. They laughed at me. It's like, oh, you going to CSM? I'm going to Morgan State. I'm going to here, and I'm like, yo, you going to a 4 year college? Like, and I'm going
Yeah.
to be back home. You know what I
Morgan,
mean?
CSM was like the 13th grade. Like it was really like talked about as if it was just like, oh, like
Legit,
you're not smart and yeah, all those things.
legit. Yeah. So you were able to like overcome all of that. Talk to me about like graduation day. Like all is said and done, you about to walk this stage. Like you did it for
Man.
yourself, for Jawan, for your grandma, for your mom, for people who you haven't even met yet. Like
Yeah.
talk to me about like that feeling, yo.
It was just a crazy day, and it ironically rained, and we decided to have the like
Mm.
graduation outside.
Listen,
But
showers of blessing, all right? Showers of blessing.
yeah, it was just like a moment of just like so much excitement because it's like you spend your whole life working up for this one moment, and here it is. And shout out to my dad too. Like, both of my parents hadn't graduated from college either, so it was like a big deal even within my family because
Mm.
I was the first child of theirs to even graduate. Like my other two brothers went into like trades and doing their own things.
Okay.
But it was just such a like sigh of relief. Like this chapter
Mm.
of my life is closed. I've been through so much. I've overcame so much. It is finally my moment.
Yeah.
And so like I never really cared about the optics of what anybody else thought though. Like how you said people used to like talk down on CSM and all that stuff. Like it never bothered me because I always knew like what the end goal was and what the plan behind why I was doing the things I was doing. So I'm like, y'all can go and get all that student loan
Mm.
debt,
Mm.
all that like I'm getting paid to go to school right now, and I can still pull up to your school and like go to all the parties and stuff. So it's like I'm not really missing out on anything per se. But
Yeah.
yeah, graduating was just a surreal moment. And Tom Joyner, the radio host, like locally in the DMV, actually was like our graduation speaker. So he gave everybody $5.
Mm.
So I actually still have that $5 bill like
Wow.
next to my cap and gown, just as like a moment in time, I
Wow.
guess.
No, that's beautiful, yo. Shout out to
Fun
you because
fact.
I think you said so. You're the first one to graduate from your family, right? You said.
Yeah, my
Wow.
yeah, both my mom and dad didn't graduate, or my two brothers, but they found success in their own lane. But
Yeah.
first person to go the college route.
No, I think it's beautiful. One, you're a black woman who's able to go to college and graduate, yo. Like,
Yeah,
like you understand, like back in the day, like black women couldn't go to, black people couldn't go to school, yet alone
yeah,
like a black woman going to school, yo. You know what I mean?
and
So
that's
for
why it
you to
hits
like,
different at like
yeah,
a HBCU because you walk through the hallways and you see that like this
yeah,
school was like once you understand that slaves were freed or escaped or whatever and they built these universities for us to go to, it's like how
mm,
could I ever play with this like
yeah,
they didn't have the option to get
yeah,
educated. And
yeah,
it's like here
yeah.
we are taking those things for granted. And then to be a black female engineer, it's like I don't even know what the percentage is, less than 10% for sure. Like
Dang.
it's a
Bruh, that's crazy.
small drop in the pond.
Yeah, yeah. So let me say this though. So let's talk about this. So after college, you graduate, whatnot. What was next? Was the internship? Was it a big, big bag job? Like what was next?
Yeah, that's actually a great question. So I interned the entire time I was in college, but I actually was interning at the Department of Justice in the government. I thought after I finished my engineering degree, I was going to go on to be a lawyer, but boy, did I fool myself. Shout out to all the lawyers, but I'm just not someone who enjoys like reading and studying and retaining information. I'm more of an analytical problem solving person. And so I thought that was going to hold me back because I didn't have a lot of internship experience directly in tech. But shout out to Morgan. Microsoft was on campus in the fall semester before I graduated. So this is fall of 2017. And they were recruiting. And I'm just like, I'm going to just go put my name in the hat. Like, there's no way I'm going to get a job at Microsoft, but I'm going to shoot this shot and let them tell me no.
Let's go. Let's go.
And so what's funny is I was actually gonna fly out that same day to Atlanta's homecoming at Morehouse with my friend Tevin, my best friend Tevin. And so I wasn't even gonna go, but I was like, nah, let me move this flight and prioritize this. And so, anyways, I'm talking to the recruiter, and she's like, "No, you don't want to be a software developer. Like, you actually have like some personality. You're not your typical, top type A fit in a box, engineer for lack of better words. We're gonna put you in front of customers in this customer
Mm.
facing role where you help and build out solutions, and you travel like every week." And I'm just like, what?
And you
Like,
travel every
okay.
week. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm like free travel, working at Microsoft. Like my dreams are coming true. But I mean, that
Yeah.
was just the start of it. You know how the interview process in tech is long. The interview process coming out of college is 10 times longer. Um,
Mm.
she just referred me to a group where like I could possibly be selected. But then after that, it was the phone screen, which probably took like a month from the time this career fair happened. maybe like 3 or 4 months later, they fly me out to Dallas, Texas to come on site and interview like all day with the different hiring managers and like the people who lead the college hire program. And then there's probably like another month or two before I figured out I got the job. So this is just like 6 months of agony
Wow.
of like, you
Wow.
know. So for those of you who are like applying as, coming from a corporate position and you just have to go through 4 rounds of interviews in like a 1 month span, like give some grace to the college students.
Yeah,
But
yeah. But hold up though. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I thought that if you went to college, the interview process would be a little bit more. They'll show y'all some grades because y'all have a paper that say, "Yo, I completed college." Is that not the case
yeah,
at all?
I mean, like, yes and no. It's still like highly competitive. You have to think like
Mm,
the year you graduate, you're competing with every college graduate across the world for this
yeah,
one
yeah.
position. So there were like 1,000 of us that they interviewed, but they only hired about like 80 of us total for this like
Wow.
cohort. So they definitely still want you to come with a little bit, not even a little bit. They want you to come with some knowledge and some understanding. There's some grace, but you can't just say, "Oh, I have a degree, let me in."
Mm,
Like you still have to
yeah,
prove yourself.
yeah, yeah,
So it's
yeah.
still challenging for sure.
Okay. So you interned all through. You said college. Well, your
Hmm.
second and or second was the last 2 years of college, right?
Yeah.
And so that was with Microsoft, right?
No, so I entered all the way through. I interned through college for like 4 years in
Okay.
Department of Justice,
Okay. Okay.
like working like on the legal side of things. So I was
Gotcha.
like a GS3 or a GS4 in the government. I was making
Whew.
probably like 20 or something, $20 an hour or something like
Okay.
that. I don't even
Okay.
know.
Okay. Okay.
Something
Okay.
very low.
Yeah. So all right, bet. So let's go from internship to
Microsoft.
Microsoft, right? Walk
Hmm.
me through the interview process. Walk me through the stress level because I know those stress level. Walk me through the doubts. Walk me through all that. All up until yes, we want to hire you. Like walk me through
Yeah.
that.
So once again, like I just will say, I've always been blessed to get connected to the right people at the right time. So for the interview process, the first step is a phone call with the recruiter, right? And so luckily, one of my closest, like a close friend who went to Morgan with me, her dad actually worked at Microsoft, so he wasn't able to like give me the interview questions per se, but he was able to help like me mock interview and really understand what to expect out of this. And so that was just a huge win in itself because mock interviews are typically like thousands of dollars from people who work at the company. And so, he gives me the spiel about like, they might ask what the cloud is or how you explain the cloud to your grandmother, like questions like that or whatever. Um, and so we're just prepping.
Yeah, yeah.
I give it my best shot. And I'm always one of those people who's like, I'm so hard on myself after anything. I'm like, I don't think I got it. I don't think I did that good.
Mm.
And everybody around is like, bro, you killed it. Like, shut up.
Yeah,
We're trying to
yeah.
get. So yeah, ace the phone interview. I'm like in my apartment with my roommates at the time, like just shaking, trying to do my best. Ace the phone interview. Next up is they invite you to fly out on site to interview with everybody. And so what that
Mm.
entailed was it was two pieces. The first piece was like behavioral, where they just want to make sure that you're a good culture fit for the company. Like that's the one thing I love about Microsoft as like a big tech company. Their core values, like on the back of every badge, says to empower every person and organization in the world to
Mm.
achieve more. And that's like a
Mm.
mission statement I took with me because it's like it's our responsibility to leave things better than we found them. So they wanted to
Of
make sure
course.
that you're somebody who's like a team player. You're big on impact. You're big on helping others. So it's like, that was a checkbox for me. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
but the second component of it was presenting, doing a presentation or whatever. Uh, I won't go into the specifics of it because I don't want to like lose my job. I don't even do that anymore, but I don't know what you can tell people or not tell people about
Of
it. But I
course,
had
for
to do a
sure, for sure.
presentation in front of people, and
Okay.
pretty much based on that, they would say if I could get hired or not. Because like in a customer facing role, they want to make sure that you have the ability to stand up and present and speak with confidence to a topic. And so that was a whole level of anxiety because it's like it's already, nerve wracking talking in front of a class, let
Yeah,
alone like
yeah,
you're at Microsoft trying to, plead your case with
yeah.
thousands of people interviewing.
Mm.
So high stress. I didn't sleep a lot. Like the night before, I'm in the hotel just studying, going over my talk tracks and all that. Bless you.
Yeah. Thank you. I had to mute my mic. I was like,
But the sad part about it is like while we were out there, we're meeting other people who are interviewing and we're all trying to help each other and we're all in these
Mm,
group chats when we come back home and we're like, did you get an offer? Did you get an offer? Did you get an offer? And it was sad and like some people who you grew close with didn't get
mm.
the offer. But yeah, I come back like a month later, they finally reach out to me with an offer. And that was the most money at that point in time I had ever seen in my life.
Money.
I was like, oh, we are up.
We up. We up
Because
up.
Microsoft is actually my last offer. So pretty much
Mm.
my senior year, I was just like collecting offers. Like the government had given me an offer. I interviewed with Intel. I interviewed with Lockheed Martin. But Microsoft was like, boom.
That's dope.
um, and it was just kind of like a surreal moment where it was like, bro, this is why like you had to go the route you had to go. This is why
Mm.
certain things took a long time because it's like, look at you, like not that it's about like a competition, but it's like you were so worried about all these people who graduated 2 years before you, and now you're making more than them 2 years out the door, 2 years late to the party. So
Mm.
it's like
Mm.
just run your own race.
Yeah.
Um, I go through the whole gambit of trying to negotiate it because I came in as a college hire. It was pretty much like a
Mm.
set kind of offer or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I was just floored to be there. Like
That's
moving to
beautiful,
Dallas,
yo.
traveling full time. Like I was just ready to graduate at this point. It's probably like March or April, maybe like
Okay.
March when I
Okay.
found out.
Yeah.
So at that point, it's
Nah,
like,
that's
yeah,
dope.
I'm relocating for the first time ever in life, moving to Dallas.
Wow. So it's Texas, huh? Okay. How was
Yeah,
Texas?
I loved it. Like,
Yeah, because I lived in Texas for like 3 years.
yeah, you told me. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, like 3 years.
um, I would 100% go back, like right now.
You say you would?
Yeah, for sure. If it wasn't
Them
so much
house prices
opportunity,
too.
yeah, that's it right
It's crazy.
there.
It's crazy. Like it's expensive here in DMV, yo. Like I tell people all the time, like man, like around here where I live, like a house, if you want a single family house, you're looking at least like
What, 7?
eight, not even seven, eight.
Sheesh, 7 is generous. 8.
Seven is who? Seven that
Dang.
what? Where I live, if you find a house, what? That's cheap,
Yeah,
cheap. You're looking anywhere from like 8 to a mil and up.
yeah, easily. I mean, in this area, like I'm in Bethesda, right? Like there is some townhomes literally one street over just got built, 3 mil for a townhouse, like a row house. It's not even your own, lawn. It's crazy
That's
here.
crazy. That's crazy.
But yeah.
Actually, let me rephrase that. Yeah, for a townhouse, you're getting like 800. For a
Okay,
single
okay.
family home, it's a mill. It's
A
a mill and
mill.
up.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's
yeah,
straight up. It's crazy. It's crazy.
yeah.
That's wild. But I know Texas though. That man, I think there's no like state income tax too in
Yeah,
Texas,
there was no
right?
state income tax. The people were so friendly. The food was
Mm-hmm.
good. You could
Mm-hmm.
travel anywhere,
Yeah.
which was great for me. Like traveling every week, like getting
Yeah.
from coast to coast was like 2 hours.
Yeah.
Man, I have no complaints about Texas. And then the fact that it's 80 college students starting at the same time, I had a very
Mm.
unique experience on my first day at work because it's like I'm not going into a company where it's not like a fun culture or whatever. It's
Mm.
80 other college students. So we're kind of going through this process of like learning this role, learning that, ramping up on the technology all together. So like
Yeah.
to this day, we still have bonds. Like, what is
Wow.
that? 2018 to now, 7 years later, still keep in touch with like a lot of them, and I just have seen where they've gone. So it's like
Mm.
it's lifelong friendships from that for sure.
Yeah. So I'm guessing your first year or so working, or first couple months or year of working, was it a breeze? Like how was it? Because I know obviously if you're working with other with other college students, if y'all are all in the fire, it makes it less hot. You know what I mean?
I
Compared to
wish that was the
somebody,
case.
really, was it tough?
I mean, us having each other made it fun and made it like we had a support system. Like you didn't feel
Okay.
isolated, but it was still the hardest thing I've ever been through in my life because like
Mm.
you are going out and working with Microsoft's customers, helping them solve problems. So they are expecting you to be the brightest of the brightest and, to figure things out fast. And so it's like the bar is extremely high on like how you need to perform and show up. And so it's like we were kind of jolted into adulthood very fast. Like you need to grow up and learn how to navigate in social situations and, all that stuff. So it was a very intense job. And then just the additional layer of traveling. You don't have a
Mm.
consistent routine. You're not in a consistent place. You're living in a hotel. So the upsides is you get to see a lot of places for free on the
Yeah.
company's dime, for lack of better words. But at the
Yeah.
same time, like you're here to do a job and perform. So it's kind of like those first few months. It's like I don't even want to go out after work. I want to
Mm.
come back, study these problems, make sure I'm showing up for my customer because like I can't let this company who's giving me an opportunity down.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, the first 6 months was really like more so around like training and like all of that good stuff. But after that, it was like go out and deliver and bill. So we were in
Yeah.
a like a consulting type role where like you had to
Okay.
spend a certain amount of hours with a customer. So if you didn't hit that metric, you could possibly be
Mm.
let go of. I mean, obviously not the first time, but it's a
Yeah.
possibility if you're not hitting your numbers that it's not a good fit.
Yeah.
So yeah, high
So
pressure.
so so I'm curious to know, like, so what kind of problems were you solving with your clients? That's if you can disclose that. If you can't, that's all good.
Yeah,
And um as a black woman, did you ever face any kind of discrimination? Did you ever face any kind, like, did you get the help that you needed? Like, you
yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
Not saying that you would need any special help, but were there things that were not given to you that, would maybe given to somebody else?
Yeah.
Does that
So
make sense?
yeah, I'm following. Yeah. So I guess to answer the first part of the question, as far as like what problems we were solving, all of us were given like a specific domain or technology. And so I was very blessed that my senior year of college, I decided to build out this like facial recognition drone with my partner. Shout out Josh if he's watching this. But we built out like a drone that could recognize someone's face and then like follow that person based on them matching like the face that we had in like our database or whatever. It was sick. Like, and this
This
was
was in high
like
school?
2017, so like college. Yeah,
Wow.
like senior year of college. That was my like transition into software. Like it was built on Python. It was very scrappy,
Mm.
but ahead of its time for sure. Like AI was not even a thing back then. And so anyways, because of that, they put me in the Azure and apps domain where I was like responsible for like working with like, kind of more like software development, infrastructure as code, DevOps problems. And so like a lot of my stuff was really around like DevOps, helping build out pipelines, helping people migrate into the cloud, helping people learn what the cloud is. Some people who might not even, need training.
Yeah.
So I had a wide variety of responsibilities because like DevOps is not, you know how it is. It's not
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
one, two, three. DevOps is an entire world
The
ecosystem of
whole,
software
yeah.
development,
Yeah. Yeah.
networking, so much into it. But because of that, it allowed me to kind of like take things one piece at a time and
Mm.
solve problems and scale. But to answer your question about like discrimination or anything like that, like I've been extremely blessed to never have experienced discrimination. If
Love it.
someone
Love it.
ever was discriminating me, I didn't even notice it. I probably just chalked it
Mm.
up to them being a bad person.
Yeah.
But the one thing I will tell people is like, and like this is where the internet might skew things. On the internet, people will say a lot of like hateful things because like you're desensitized to who this person is. A lot of the times when people see you in person, you remind them of someone they know and love, right? Like there's no way you see me come, to help you with a problem and you don't think about your daughter or your granddaughter, who's graduating college trying to make a name for herself and you're going to be that person who, makes their life harder. And so
Mm.
luckily I've had people who like leaned in and like really just built me up. But another thing that helps is also my sense of humor. Like I would go in, bless you,
Thank you.
I would go in and lead with the obvious, right? Like obviously I look like I'm 12, right? So like I would make jokes about it to kind of ease the tension. And it's like once you start laughing about the things that they're thinking in their head, it's just like you kind of like take the things that could hold you back, you take it away from them, if that makes sense.
Mm.
So yeah, I've never been big on like victimizing myself or like I don't want to even use that word because it might sound insensitive.
Mm.
But I want to give this gem out because it's so important. Like what I mean by that is when I say victimizing is like it was a study where they put like makeup on like people's face. Like they put like scars and stuff on their face or something. And then they were supposed to go and do interviews. And then after they did their interviews, they asked the people like if they felt like the scars on their face like held them back from interviewing. And what the crazy part is like somehow they removed that off of their face before they went in. So they thought they had something on their face that was like distracting. They removed it, it wasn't even on there. And it's crazy how many people said, like, yes, the person wouldn't stop staring at it. Or, like, all these things about it. And so I say all that to say is, like, sometimes the things you think that could be holding you back is, like, a, a story in your head that's not even the reality. It's just like we're so self conscious about it that we think that's the case. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, I try to drop all those like negative stories about me being black, a woman, whatever,
Yeah. Yeah.
being
Yeah.
the
That's
reason why.
dope. That's dope. How do I even say this, man? There's no, there is a reality that racism exists, right?
For
There is
sure.
a reality that discrimination exists, right? But I feel like for the, I don't even say victims, for the people who are being discriminated against, right? On whatever level,
Yeah.
I feel like so long as you still have breath in your lungs, you still have a fighting chance.
For
And I
sure.
feel like I'm being like very careful with my words. 'Cause I feel like this is definitely a sensitive
Very
topic,
sensitive topic for sure.
but I feel like you can still make it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I think my background, right? My parents are from Ghana, West Africa, right? I'm from Ghana, West Africa. I was first generation born in America, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you take a look at people who are back home in Ghana, shout out Ghana, um, people are struggling, yo.
Mm-hmm.
Like people are struggling, and that struggle could have been from you know racism, whatever the case may be, right?
Yeah.
But they have this idea of just never giving up, like just never
Mm-hmm.
giving up. You know what I mean? And I feel like if you have that mentality, you can always one you will always find a way to persevere, and you just be a happier person. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
And so I feel like I a lot of people DM, and I actually have a specific question because I get a lot of people who DM me, um, who are like, man, like I'm a mom, I'm a black
Yeah.
woman,
Yeah.
um, I live in the projects, I've been to jail, all this stuff, and I feel like there's no point in learning how to code, or there's no point in trying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And first things first, I sympathize with them 'cause, like that's a real story. You know what I mean? That's a
Yeah.
real story. But then I
Real
also turn it
barriers.
around. Yeah, but I always turn around and say, hey, but yo, do you know who you are? Like you are
Yeah.
whatever your name is. You know what I mean? You are Nyamicha. You are Alicia. Like you know what I mean? You are Bob. Whoever your name is. You know what I mean? And you can
Yeah.
make it through. Like regardless of whatever has happened. You know what I mean? And that's not to minimize whatever has happened. I'm just saying, yo, irrespective of that, like you can still like kill it. You can still get up and kill it. Because I feel
Yeah.
like God has made us all to be like survivors, yo. Like legit.
Built us to be very resilient.
Yeah.
And I've never been in that situation, so I can't say how to navigate it. But the only thing I would encourage everyone to do is like not allow that one circumstance to project onto like others who might fit that same category. Like I've
Mm.
had some phenomenal mentors in my life who have come from all walks of life, like
Yeah.
white
Yeah.
male, black female, white female, you name it, like phenomenal people. And so I guess I'm just optimistic that like I
Yeah.
lead with thinking that it's more people out there who are showing love and willing to build each other up than like getting clouded in, what's going on in the internet. But I
Yeah.
sympathize with anybody who's ever been kind of in that position where you had somebody looking down on you just because of like something so minuscule like your skin color or your gender. It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
you're an amazing human being, and yeah, you'll get in the right rooms.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think like you said, people who have experienced these kind of things, um, it's easy to be like, they're all like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But like you
yeah.
said, social media will have you thinking that. Well, social media will have you thinking. Social media is not real, y'all. Like
Social
social
media will
media
have you
will
thinking a
have
lot of
you
things.
think a lot of things. Like you said, in the real world, when you actually, get up there and you make a joke and you identify with people, you're able to make people laugh. People tend to like open up to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so to anybody who has been, what's the word? What am I looking for? Anybody who has been discriminated against or whatever the case
Yeah,
may
that's the
be,
only way
like
to
any
put
kind
it.
of yeah, like stumbling blocks, yo, you can still make it, yo. Like
Yeah.
you can legit still make it. And I always tell people like if I like I never went to jail or nothing like that, but I've had a tough life, yo.
Mm.
And if I can make it to where I am here now, what?
Yeah.
Anybody
Yeah.
can make it, yo. Anybody can make it. You gotta just put your head down and be like, yo, I'm not gonna stop until I hit this mark,
Until it's done.
until it's
Yeah.
done.
That's the best way to put it. I mean, same. Like there was times, in college where shout out to my best friend like Javon, and
Yeah.
Paige. Like I was literally sleeping on his floor like one
Mm.
semester, just kind of waiting for us to get housing and stuff like that. And so it's like, but it's like those are those moments where you got to just go through it and push through. Like giving up is not an option.
Yeah.
But yeah, like definitely didn't always have it easy. Definitely didn't have handouts, but you don't even you look back on those moments and appreciate them almost. Like it's like, dang, remember when like life was like this, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And now
Mm-hmm.
it's totally different. So like
Yeah.
I used to be that person listening to someone like me and being like, I could never be that person.
Mm.
Like everyone always says like I'm just like you. If I can do it, you could do it. And I would always hear someone say that and be like, but no, like I
Mm.
don't think I'm gonna be able to do those things. I'm
Mm.
telling you, like just like how you said it, it's the truth. Like
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
can do it. Anyone
Yeah.
can do it. Nothing but opportunity.
Yeah. I love it, man. I love it. I want to ask you this question though. So, are you your first job was Microsoft? That's a big accomplishment, by the way. That's a
Crazy.
big fish to like rail in. But are you still at Microsoft now? Like where are you at? If you can share.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I am at Microsoft now still. I'm in a different role. I'm a technical program manager now. I did take a gap year to pursue entrepreneurship. While I was so my first 2 years while I was at Microsoft, I was like building out the trading business, traveling the world, impacting people, teaching people. Crypto was going crazy,
Yeah.
and I got
Yeah.
to the I got to the point where like I was making way more doing that than I was at my job. And I didn't leave because I didn't like my job or anything like that. I left because I didn't want my performance to drop.
Mm.
I didn't want to like slack off or like just do enough to get by. I figured I should leave while I'm on a high. And I could always come back if need be. And I
Yeah.
also just I knew that role wasn't for me. Like I
Mm.
enjoyed the company and everything about it, but I was getting to a point where I was like, okay, like I know this role isn't bringing me the fulfillment that I want. And so yeah, stepped away from a full-time job into entrepreneurship
Mm.
for like 3 4 years.
And that's when you were doing like you were teaching people how to trade, right?
Yeah, I'm
And you
just
was
traveling
killing
the
it though, yo.
world.
You were killing. I
Bro.
saw I'm gonna try to like maybe like find that picture on your Instagram. There's this picture of you using this dripped out suit, yo, hair done,
Ah.
and I don't know, it's probably like at least like 5,000 people
Oh
like in the
my
crowds,
gosh.
bruh.
We were in
What
Atlanta,
was
Georgia.
that? That was
That was
Georgia?
a yeah, the Georgia Stadium. I don't know
Sheesh.
the exact name of it, but yeah, the Coliseum in Georgia. It was definitely like 5,000 people, and then we had another one that was like maybe like 10 or 15,000. But
Yeah.
that was just a glimpse of like all the hard work that was put in.
Mm.
Like talk about blind faith. Like I never thought that it would turn into what it turned into at all. Probably one of the
Mm.
best times of my life for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Besides present day right now. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Nah, that's dope.
yeah. So left and then came back in as a technical program manager about
What
like a
what
year
what,
ago.
what made you want to come back?
Yeah, so I mean things obviously slowed down, right? Like all good things come to an end, for lack of better words. And I won't really dive into what ended it per se, but what I will say is like pretty much it was just division within the group, right? Like whenever you have a
Mm.
group of people doing great things together, and making a lot of money at a young age, obviously you're gonna butt heads. And I kind of just took a opportunity to bow out. Like I was like, I don't really want to stay and convince people, and like demystify drama. Like, bro, I'm just here to have fun and trade.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, and so I took a step back. That's when I launched actually like a trucking business. Like this is
Mm.
actually crazy. I don't. This is an decoded exclusive. Probably not a lot of people know I was doing this.
Let's go.
Yeah, like I was like, man, I'm making all this money investing. Like, what is something I can invest into? I saw people killing it in trucking. This is during COVID. 50K a month, all these crazy
Yeah, yeah,
things.
yeah. I've heard even more, yo. Like
Yeah,
I've heard people making Crazy money.
Mills, yeah, two,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And so I just jumped straight into trucking, like straight off the porch into
Mm,
trucking.
yeah.
It isn't as easy as everyone says it is, but yeah, I actually have my CDL. Like,
Okay.
I could actually drive a semi truck.
Wow.
Um,
Let's go. That's dope.
but but yeah, I ultimately just realized like it wasn't really for me. It wasn't like
Okay.
it. I had to realize that like it wasn't about the money that I was making. It was about like what excites me and what makes me happy. Like trading makes me
Mm,
happy, investing makes me happy, helping people makes me happy, tech makes me happy. Just doing something because of the outcome of the potential money it can make, like it just never works out. So yeah, scaled that business down, and then I
yeah.
was just like, you know what, like I'm gonna jump back into tech. But I was
Mm.
honestly oblivious to the benefits of tech, even though I came in right out of college. I didn't know like I didn't really know how much money people were making in tech. Like, for
There's money to be made in tech.
like
Crazy money.
I don't even think we can call it money. Like it might have to be like wealth. Like
Yeah, it's wealth. It's nah, that's
like
exactly what it is. It's wealth, yo. That's exactly what it is.
because money is like relative. It's like okay, like
Mm,
yeah, no, there is a lot of money on the table, and I wasn't aware of it coming out of college.
mm,
And I thought it was going to take me like 10, 20 years to get to like those levels.
mm.
So it wasn't until like, shout out to all the influencers like Cyrus, Simone, all of them started posting about like salary transparency that I'm like,
Yeah.
wait, they're
Yeah.
in there making 400 what?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, I'm not saying I came back solely for the money, but it's like, why am I driving myself crazy trying to be an entrepreneur, doing something that I'm not passionate about when like what I really love is
You
paying,
good? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I decided like the PM role was like best for me when I
Mm,
jumped back into Microsoft. But it wasn't
yeah.
easy coming back. Like I decided I wanted to get back into tech right when everyone was doing massive layoffs. So it was
Mm,
like, is this even the best time? Should I
yeah.
do
Yeah.
this?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it worked out. I have like the best manager like in the world. Like
Yeah.
he is just a really great person, like a great human being. And so
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
me waiting, getting denied, interviewing once, becoming second best, not getting hired, right? So I did interview for a position. They's like I got
Okay.
beat by one candidate,
Mm,
just staying consistent the second time it came through, and it's like once again, this is exactly where you're supposed to be. Like this is supposed to be your manager, you know?
mm,
So like just trust the process. Like
yeah.
from the outside it looks easy.
Yeah.
Going through
Yeah.
the trenches is real
But
work.
that's like beautiful. So it's crazy how you were already in Microsoft, then you stopped and you did trading, trucking, all that stuff, and then you come back, right? And what I'm hearing is your first time coming back to Microsoft when you applied, you got denied.
Yeah, I applied for a position for a business intelligence analyst. So it's like Power BI, like
Yeah,
a data
yeah,
analyst type role.
yeah, yeah.
Go through the entire loop. He was just like, man, you just got beat up by an internal candidate. Like that was
How'd
the
that
only
feel, yo?
thing.
How'd that
I
feel?
was like, I was so close.
Because I rather you tell me from like the get go, like, yo, I, you didn't make it. I don't have to go through all these interviews. But you prepped yourself for all these interviews. You made it to the top, and you get beat by like one person.
I mean, I had potential to outshine that person. Like if I would have came in and performed better than them, I could have gotten the position. So it wasn't like they didn't like waste my
Okay,
time or anything. It's just more
okay.
like as a company, it makes sense to obviously hire someone who has closer proximity to that role and what
Mm,
it's doing because they're gonna ramp up a lot faster than me coming out from the outside. Like I don't know
gotcha.
anything about this, but I
Yeah,
have the
yeah.
skill set. So
Okay.
yeah, it was
So,
fair.
s- so from that rejection, how long did it take you to apply again, and then from you to get that role that you're at right now?
I kid you not, like probably like over a year because like
Wow.
I was being very picky about the positions that I was applying for. And then I also like, you just go through like self-doubt, like am I even supposed to be in Microsoft? Like am I supposed to go to another company, whatever.
Yeah.
Um so yeah, like it took me like a whole year to like interview again, but I was also like sharpening my skill set. Like I knew I wanted to be a PM, so I was like really making sure I understood like the interview process. What type of questions do they ask? Like just polishing myself. Like what does my resume need to look like? Like I was putting in the work during that year time,
Mm,
and I'm also like running my business and like still making
of
money.
course.
So
Yeah.
yeah, like a year later
Wow.
of waiting.
Wow. So are you
Yeah.
are you fulfilled? Like when it comes to like your career, because it sounds like you just been going for Microsoft. It's like, yo, forget all the other companies. We doing Microsoft. You know what I mean? So are you fulfilled? Do you see yourself doing something else down the line? Like how are you feeling right now in your tech career right now?
Yeah, like I'm fulfilled. I think like I'm at a point right now where like I'll just continue to grow and scale like where I'm
Okay.
at.
Okay.
Of course I don't have a crystal ball and I don't know where life will take me, but like as of right now today, it's there's no place I'd rather be. Like this is my
Yeah.
first like probably the last 3 years since I met my fiance for real has been the first time I've ever had peace in my life. Like I've been
Wow.
happy and I've
Mm.
like achieved a lot of success, but the past 3 years have been like the first time I ever felt peace, bro. Like,
Mm.
and
Mm.
it just comes through that cycle of like understanding what's really important and like what I have and like, yeah, I'm a
Oh,
hundred.
that's
My cup is
beautiful.
full.
Yeah. Bro, that's beautiful, yo. Like I feel like people don't understand like all the money, all that stuff. I think you said at the beginning, like you make so much, you do all this stuff, but like who's it for? You know what I mean? It's for your family,
Yeah,
for your friends. And if you don't have peace at the end of the day, yo, like how many millionaires do we see like committing suicide? How many people that we see that they have everything and because they don't
yeah,
have peace, they don't have
at
love,
all.
they're like, bruh, it's not even worth it. You know what I mean? And
I
so
tell everybody like 250K a year to like 500K is like a good spot to be at. Like you
yeah,
hit that
yeah.
and you'll be able to like
You're
save,
coasting.
invest, take trips, do everything you need to do, but you won't have the pressure of somebody who's making, millions of dollars working
Yeah,
16, 18 hours a day. That's like a
yeah,
good spot to be at, I feel
yeah,
like. But yeah,
yeah. But yo,
it means nothing.
I'm happy that you're on that peace mode right now for the past like what 3 years.
Yeah, like I would say like for the
That's
past three
beautiful,
years,
yo.
like the right people are in my life, the right opportunities
Mm,
are aligning. I just feel like me and God like have a direct like phone like a
yeah,
speed dial to him, bro. Like
yeah, yeah.
it's like whatever my heart desires, it happens and I feel like the things that don't happen I'm
Mm,
just not supposed to be doing. And it's
yeah,
it's a
yeah,
it's a weird feeling. I feel like I have like
yeah.
60 years of wisdom in a 30-year-old body.
Mm. No, that's dope. So like with that being said, let's talk about the wisdom part. Like, go ahead and give somebody who is watching this episode or listening on Spotify, wherever, and they're like, "Yo, man, like, I'm trying to get to like where you are, and I
Yeah.
don't even know like what kind of steps to take. I've tried everything and everything I do, like I something happens and just falls apart. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like what is that one thing that you would tell that person to like just keep them going?
I mean, I've been long winded, so I can't really give it as a one short answer. But what I will say is like the
Mm,
first piece to getting ahead in life, I think, is consistently looking for feedback and like trying to paint the picture. Like all of the dots in your life are going to connect. Like you're going to look up one day and understand, like, I had to move to Dallas to meet this person because this person is going to come in my life 5 years later and connect me to this. Like all the dots always connect. So, like, don't get too caught up in like what you're seeing in your present day and let that dictate your emotions. And I know that's easier said than done. Like it's been times where I looked at my bank account and it was negative and I'm like, how are we going to stay positive about this,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
But like what you have to realize is like the more you speak to the problem and the more you speak to the thing that's holding you back, really all you're doing is like attracting that or like bringing yourself on that frequency. And so like a huge proponent for me was like right when I hit like 5K a month from investing and I felt like I was plateauing. Gratitude and like I'm a spiritual person, so praying, but like if you're not,
Yeah.
then like gratitude will suffice. Um Writing out the things I was grateful for that I had right now allowed me to start to attract more. So like
Mm,
wake up every day and just think about how you're grateful to have a roof over your head, how you're grateful to have like food in your stomach, whatever it is that you have that someone else doesn't, like express gratitude for that because like we often are like chasing more, not even realizing like you're living like a prayer right now. Like at some point you wanted this life you have right now. Um but as far as like what to do, I'm gonna be real. Like I'm a person who believes in like putting in the work and putting in the hours. Like it takes an insane amount of time to be successful. Like you have to be willing to like find something where it's 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, and you can't even sleep because like it's the only thing in your mind, and like you can't even go to sleep until it's done. And like once you find that thing, that's how you know like you're really probably moving in your purpose and something that inspires you. And so like just lock in for like a period of time, whether it's like 6 months or a year, just say like this is the only thing I'm gonna do and dedicate myself to until I get to where I need to go. And then I'll circle back to all my friends and family and like kick it with y'all. But like when I was doing the trading thing, bro, like that was the least present I was in anyone's life. Like I
Mm.
miss birthdays, I miss Christmases. I mean, my grandmother had passed away in December, right? Like, and then like I literally had to like get on calls like an hour after I found out like my grandmother passed, like the most
Whew.
important person in my
It's
world. Run
tough.
this business, travel around the world, like fly back in for a funeral, fly back out, like. But I was willing to make those sacrifices because I knew like what I was building was so important and special.
Mm.
And I think you go through that for a season, like a small window of time, and then eventually you got to say like enough is enough. Like I need to get back to like having my tribe, having my family. And so like I
Mm.
know this is like a very long-winded answer. I think the answer is like continue to put in the work. Like I've
Yeah.
never seen anyone put in the work for a consistent period of time and not get what they want. Like I haven't seen it.
That right there. Yeah. Yeah. Man, that just gave me goosebumps, bro. I ain't gonna lie. That legit just gave me goosebumps. Cause
It's
like,
so simple.
yeah, it's so simple and it's so true, man. Like, and it reminds me of even me in boot camp, yo. I went to boot camp for like six months. Yeah, 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was like six. It was a 6 months boot camp, but I think I finished it in like 6.5 months, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And yo, it was intense. That college, the coding boot camp was intense, yo.
Yeah.
And yo, there were a lot of times where I cried. There was a lot, like legit crying. Like I'm not able to understand JavaScript. I'm crying.
That that's
What
what
the
it
heck is a
takes.
for loop? I'm crying. Like, what are
Yeah.
functions? What is a DOM? Like, I'm crying, and I'm like, bro, what's going on here? You know what I mean? Um, my kids would like barely saw me to the point where it was like they would go to school and for whatever reason they'll tell. So let me take it back. My office was in my wife and I our bedroom. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so I was always there, coding, studying, on a call, whatever, just learning in my boot camp, my coding boot camp. And my kids never saw me like that, like in the living
Yeah.
room, hanging out with them. I was always in the room. And so to them, daddy's in the room, so daddy's sleeping. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And my wife went to a like a teacher parent conference, whatever, and the teacher was like, "Hey, by the way, like the kids are always saying that daddy's always sleeping. Is daddy okay? Like, is daddy
Mm-hmm.
okay?" And my wife laughs like, "Nah, he's in coding boot camp, and our his office is in our room, whatever, blah blah." And she came home and told me that, bruh, like that
Crushed
crushed
you.
my heart,
Yeah.
crushed my
Yeah.
heart, like
Crushed you.
crushed my heart, yo. You know what I mean? A lot of times where I missed a lot of friends, like, "Hey, let's go out to go eat." I'm like, "Nah." And bear in mind, it was like night and day. It was like one day I'm always out, I'm always there, and it's like, bing, I'm in boot camp. I can't.
Off
You,
grid.
so it was cold turkey, legit. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so I felt like a bad friend. I had people coming to check up on me, like, "Yo, you good?" Like I had people coming to my crib, like, "Yo, are you good?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Nah, bruh. Like I gotta learn." You know what I mean? And so to your point, like the reason why I gave me goosebumps, because yes, it's so true, but it took me back to my story and like the hard work I had to put in just to be where I am now.
But it was
Like
times where like you
sleepless
doubted
nights.
if it would work out, right? Like you were
Hell yeah.
like, am I
Hell
supposed to
yeah.
be doing this? Like all
Hell
that.
yeah. Hell yeah. And I wasn't working, yo. Like I wasn't working. My wife was the only one working. And picture it as a man, yo. Like you supposed to be a provider. You supposed to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What they say now? They be
With the fifty
what's that?
fifty or whatever.
Nah, 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 not 50-50.
Oh.
High value man, high
Oh,
value man. You know
oh
what I mean?
yeah,
I was
yeah.
not a high value man, yo. I was in freaking boot camp and my wife was working, you know what I mean? And so,
Yeah.
you go through that, like that bruises your ego, you know what I mean? Bruh, so much, man, you know what I mean? But like you said, to your point, yo, like you have to like bust your tail for a season, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And and put in that work and know that like once you're able to hit that target, like after that season, like it's only up from there. It's only up
Yeah.
from there. But like if you just sit in your butt and say, "Hey, it's hard, I'm tired," you give all the excuses, yo, like 2025 is gonna go and come. It's gonna be 2026, and you're gonna be
The same person.
the same person. You're in the same spot.
But I want to double click on that real quick, bro, because I think that it also is important to hear for like the couples who might be like watching this, like somebody who, is in a relationship and trying to figure out how to navigate. Like, I
Mm.
know you're supposed to be like interviewing me, but bro, can you just touch on that like really quickly? Like the support from your wife and kind of like framing that up, like, because I feel like once you have someone buy into your dream, that's like another
Mm.
why. Like this has to
Yeah,
work out. Like I've just not intentionally neglected my family, but I've put them on the back burner for this period of time. Like I gotta go make this make sense now.
yeah. Yo, shout out my wife. So first of all, shout out Jesus Christ. Like
For
he's
sure.
like he already know.
Chef's kiss.
That's that. Yeah, chef's
Yeah.
kiss. But like on earth, yo, like my wife is like my everything, bruh.
Yeah.
Like my wife, if you you are gonna watch this before it even goes live. So I love you, baby girl. You know that.
We love it.
Nah, yo, like people don't realize that we were doing Uber at one point, and we're both doing
Hmm.
Uber at one point. And actually, the day that I think she went to labor, a day or two before she went to labor, she was doing Uber.
Hmm.
Like she had a big belly, 9 months pregnant, delivering food to strangers' houses, bro. Like in the wood, it's in
Yeah.
Texas, yo, like in the woods. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I didn't want her doing that, but it's like we needed the money. So it was like, yo, I got this car. I'm doing Uber. If I can bring home $500 a day, you bring home $500 a day. You know what I mean? We were not bringing that much home.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was like it was 100 from me, 100 from her. You know what I mean? Like we wouldn't be Gucci, but like it got to a point where it was like, yo, we can't keep on doing Uber, bruh. We can't keep on. Now we gotta
Yeah.
have some kind of. We gotta make ends meet, yo.
Yeah.
Um, it was one year we had a combined household income of 17,000. Think about that for a second.
Yeah. Like that's insane.
Seventeen
Uh,
thousand
like yeah,
with
just
kids,
divide that,
yo.
but
With
yeah.
kids. You know what I mean? And so I was like, yo, I gotta do something. And so I enrolled in a coding boot camp. And I mean, prior to boot camp, like I've been learning how to code on the side. You know what I mean? But I never
Hmm.
had like community, so I was like fell off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I remember telling her like, hey, babe, all right, you know what? Can't be doing Uber no more. Like I want there's a 6 month coding boot camp. I want to like focus on my energy on here and legit like go all in. And if I can finish within 6 months, they have a program to help me get a job, and they're saying you can, you'll make X amount of dollars, like all this stuff. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And she was like, "All right, babe, I trust you. Let's do it. Let's do it."
Shout
And
out to the
like,
queens, man.
no, legit. And
Shout out to the queens.
the funny thing is that makes the story like so much more emotional, yo. Is the fact that like I have failed so many times. I have been like, all right, babe, we're gonna do this, and then it fell apart. Oh, we're gonna do this.
Yeah.
I got you, babe, and it falls apart. So for her
Yeah.
to like, for me to go up to her and be like, hey, babe, I found this code in boot camp. I want to do it. Can you support me? It took me like at least like a week because I already knew if I was her, I would be like, hell no, like you, nah,
Another bright idea.
another bright
Yeah.
idea. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like, all right, bet, cool. You know what I mean? And yo, she held it down. She got a job. The whole time I was in boot camp, I never brought in a dime. Like
Hmm.
from the time I was in boot camp to the time I actually got a job, I think it was like 9 months or so. I didn't bring a
Okay.
penny home. Like she was holding it down, working, taking the girls a shower, cooking. Like she was doing everything, yo. Legit
Yeah.
everything. You know what I mean? And there will be some times where I'm like, yo, I know this girl's burnt out. I know
Yeah.
she burnt
Gotta
out. I'm like,
be.
babe, let me help out here. No, I got this. You go steady. I got this. You
Oh
go.
my gosh,
And it was
man.
like, yo, girl. And so honestly, yo, the reason why I would cry sometimes during boot camp when I didn't understand it was because I knew that like this was like my last straw.
Yeah.
Like I knew she would not divorce me, but in the back of my mind, I was like, if I f this up, my marriage is over, yo.
Yeah. Yeah. She'd be
I just
extremely
knew
let
that.
down.
Yeah, if I was like, yeah, if I let this,
Yeah.
if I don't finish this, yo, it's raps. You know what I mean? So yeah, to I guess to your question or anybody who is watching who is was in my boat or is in my situation, um, yeah, like having a spouse that can like motivate you and that believes in you, yo, is everything, bruh.
Yeah. Like it is
Like
a cheat
it's
code.
everything. It's a cheat code.
Like a lot of people don't understand that like getting in the right relationship will extremely accelerate your life and your productivity
Facts.
because it's just like they're there to naturally make your life easier in any
Yeah.
regard. Like pack
Yeah.
your lunch, make just like making sure you are good so you can go
Yeah.
out and perform. And
Yeah.
like I appreciate you being transparent and sharing that story because I feel like on social media a big thing that's pushed is like finding a man who is like already at his peak, and I just
Mm.
think like it's a beautiful story that like both of y'all really like came up together, and it just shows you like you can really build something special with somebody if they
Legit.
have that potential to like pour into them and create that environment for them to grow,
Yeah.
bro. So it's
Yeah.
just a beautiful story to
Yeah.
see.
And guess what though? So the funny thing is, now she's in tech.
I know, right? Yeah.
Like full story. You know what I mean? Yeah, now she's in tech, and so it's crazy to see how God works. Like you said, everything works out. Like everything works out. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
yeah,
You were
man.
leading your household, bro. Like
Yeah.
even when you took that back seat, like you were strategically leading your household and saying, "I'm gonna
Mm.
go and get this role to make our life better." And then like, guess what,
That's
babe? After I kick this
crazy.
door down, I'm bringing you through with me. Like
That's crazy.
I know in the moment you probably felt like less of a man or like ego
Yeah.
definitely bruised, but it's like, bro, in the grand scheme of things, like that is the
I'm
definition
paving
of
the path.
being a man and like
Wow.
leading your household, bro.
Hey, if I could like drop this mic, I would drop this mic, but it's like bolted onto my freaking. Yo, that's crazy. I never thought of it that way, bruh. Like, it was always like I've degraded. Not no. I've like it was always like okay, I'm supposed to be the head, but I've taken like a couple notches down. I've
Hmm.
taken a back seat, like you said, right? But like you were
Yeah.
saying, like who's to say that if I've never I can't even talk. I'm so passionate
So
right now, bro.
excited.
The
Yeah.
goosebumps are
It's
real.
fired up.
Yo, who is to say that like if I never enrolled in a coding boot camp, my wife would have probably never gotten to tech if I never enrolled in a coding boot camp.
Yeah, like it's a possible card on the table, bro. And so it's
Legit.
like I think that's important to express and show is like sometimes you gotta know how to like take a step back and like let
Yeah.
somebody else drive so you can, get yourself together and as a unit get yourself where you need to go,
Mm.
man. You guys have a beautiful story. Sorry, I did not mean to
Yeah.
like force that segment, but it's just so
Nah,
beautiful,
it's real.
bro.
It's real. It's real. And I appreciate you, yo. Like I feel like, whew,
A lot of
yeah,
things realized.
yeah,
A lot
yeah.
of things realized, man.
I don't even know where to go from here. I don't even know where to go from here.
I
Yo,
do want to talk about that one question about the
go ahead,
tech
go
boot
ahead.
camp versus college, but you could lead it wherever you
Ooh,
see fit.
no, go for it, go for it, go for it. So
Okay.
give me, yeah, go for it, go ahead, go for it. At this point, you're taking the lead
I'm
because
interviewing myself.
I'm just like, whew, go for it, go for it.
No, it is a really big gem though, because I think like somehow like we got pinned against each other between like a college degree and a tech boot camp, and it's like, bro, we all are getting to the money regardless. But what I really wanted to say about that is like it really depends on where you are in life right now. Like if I was raising a child, I would still want my child to go to college. I kid you not. And I only say that because like college is a very special place where you can meet people from all these different disciplines and really develop lifelong friendships. Like I know accountants, lawyers, doctors. I mean, probably could meet them through tech, but it's like it's not the same bond when you're in school together, like studying on
Mm,
campus for those 4 years. But like as someone who's like more seasoned, like if like you're out of that like college gap, I would personally recommend boot camps over college to like get your foot in the door because like instead of you investing 4 years and all that money, it's just like an accelerated but still long
yeah,
path
yeah,
into tech. I
yeah,
even say once you break in, like after you upskill a little bit and you get confident, maybe like 5 years in, like go back to online school and check it off because like I'm the type of person where it's like I would never want something to hold me back. And so it's like
yeah,
if that
yeah,
degree is just something that you could, check off real quick once your career stabilizes, like go to a reputable online school and
yeah,
see that through. But yeah, I'm
yeah.
actually enrolled in an MBA program right now. So like
Mm.
I'm a huge advocate for school.
Yeah, yeah. No, I love that because and I think you hit on the nail. Whereas like college and a trade school is like, I feel like it should, yeah, I feel like it should all be, we should merge it all together and see how we can, like you said, like nothing should hold you back, right?
Yeah.
And so if you need a degree so that down the line somebody doesn't X you out for not having a degree, if you can afford for it, if you can afford it, go for it. And if you need that trade school, if you need to go to to upskill, go for that. You know what I mean? And so
Yeah.
I I feel like the I would say this though. If you're going to a coding boot camp, make sure that you do your research.
For
In the
sure.
same breath, if you're going to a college, make sure you do your research. Don't just go to
For
any
sure.
college. You know what I mean? But I feel
Yeah.
like you said, you can. Why do you not want to get educated?
Yeah.
Like
Like
education comes in so many different forms. You know what I mean?
so many.
And
Yeah.
so,
Like
coding boot camp and this is what I tell people all the time because people reach out to me and like, hey, should I go to college? Should I go to coding boot camp? Self taught. I will say this, right? If you can afford college, you'll go to college.
for sure. Like if it's
If
not
you
going to
can
be a
afford
financial
college,
burden,
go to
do it.
college, please. Go to college. And yes, it is true that, some roles don't require a college degree. That's cool. But you never know what the future holds. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so if you can afford it, why not go get that education? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And with the boot camp route, make sure that you understand that it's going to be brutal.
For
Like
sure.
coding boot camp, I always say that people always ask me like, "Oh, was coding boot camp worth it? Would you go back?" And like, I I never really have like a yes or no answer for
Yeah,
them
it's tough.
because, but all I say is like coding boot camp brought out the dog in me that I never knew was there. Like
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
the only way I can explain coding boot camp because I essentially taught myself in coding boot camp because put it to you this way, if you go to in boot camp, I think we had like 2 hour lectures and then we had like an hour of like TA like lecture halls, whatever, right? Like private lessons, whatever. And so
Mhm.
if I was to just do that and chill at home, do nothing else, I would have flunked out of boot camp like the first month.
For sure.
It took like me forming like a cohort like outside of class to like brush up on the skills, stay up. Like there was some nights, I didn't sleep.
Yeah.
Like there are some like I went like 3 days, 4 days, no
No
sleep
sleep.
at all. You know what I mean? And so know that just because you enroll in a coding boot camp, that doesn't mean that you're going to graduate or that doesn't mean that you're going to get that job. Like you got
No.
whatever way you cut it, you got to put in the work. Like there's no, like, people ask like, oh, is it going to take 6 months? Is it going to take three months? I'm like, bruh, like these are all irrelevant, bruh. Like, do you want to learn or
Yeah.
not?
Yeah. Everyone's timeline is so different, bro. It's like some people come in and they kill it and they get lucky and they get interviews before they even finish the boot camp. And then other people,
Mm,
it really takes them a while. But it's like, it just depends on how fast you can learn and absorb this knowledge. Like, you have to understand you're getting paid an insane amount of money at the end of this. Like,
yeah,
it's not gonna come with just remembering a few things and checking off a few boxes. Like you're gonna have to
yeah,
put in that work and really learn. And like boot
yeah.
camps condense a lot of knowledge into a short period of time. So like you don't really want quick with this. You want like a decent pace, but if someone's saying it's gonna teach you everything you need to do the role in like 4 weeks, you should probably run. Cause like
No, please run away. This not possible. I've seen people say like 2 months from zero to two zero. No, what is it? From zero to software engineer in 2 months, and I'm like, bruh.
bro.
Do you understand how long it took me to understand JavaScript? Do you understand that I am still understanding JavaScript today? Like,
Literally, I was about to say like you work on things now and you're like, okay, it's clicking a lot faster now. But it's literally like learning a new language. It's like someone telling you that like you'll be fully fluent in Spanish if you just, get on
mm,
Duolingo for 4 weeks. Like it's just not practical.
mm,
It's a language.
yeah,
And that's not to
yeah,
discourage anyone, but it's just like we gotta
it's
stop
real.
selling fast. We gotta stop selling fast success. Like
Mm,
just go through your process and do it and stay true to it and it'll work out. But like,
yeah.
yeah, put
And
in the
like
work.
there's a beauty to it too, man. Like there's a beauty to like long suffering. You know what I mean? There's a beauty
Yeah.
to like I didn't get it so quick. I had to like work for this thing. You appreciate it more.
Yeah.
Like
Delayed
I appreciate.
gratification.
Yeah, go for it. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Like it's tough, right? So when you think about the things that are easy for us to do, right? Like eating ice cream, staying up really late and watching TV, like going into debt, all of the things that are
Hmm.
quick are like deteriorating us fast. Like you can go and get a loan right now for $20,000, blow it all, and spend like the next 10 years of your life paying it off. Those numbers might be wrong, but whatever, you get the gist. You can eat ice cream every day for the next year and gain like 20 pounds, like in the first like 60 days or whatever, right? there's all these things that like if you do them bad for a short period of time, it could have like a long-term effect to fix. But like with delayed gratification, it's like doing the right things now and you don't even see the immediate results of it until like
Yeah.
years down the line, right? So like you
Mm.
start studying for this boot camp now, 5 years down the line, you will be like very proficient in it, right? Like
Yeah.
you start working out today, it might take you, a year to lose the 20 pounds that you put on in 2 weeks or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like you really gotta fall in love with like the long term things that are like good for you, not like the quick things that make you feel good,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah. Bruh. Life
But
is
I mean,
interesting. Life is a beautiful chaos, yo. But I feel like they're the ones who are able to just roll the punches, the ones who's able to just, like you said, long suffering and just grind. Like you'll be fine. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah.
And sprinkling being a good person on top of that too.
Mm.
Like a lot of this just boils down to like you putting out the right, love and energy and compassion, which isn't really talked
Yeah.
about with the like
Yeah.
skill sets. Like you don't have to step like as someone who's made it to like somewhat of a top, like highest levels of success, you do not have to be a grimy, slimy person who steps on people
Mm.
to get to where you want to go, bro.
Mm.
Like you can do it with pure intent and love and like make
Yeah.
it. And if people don't have that right moral compass, like run.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
okay.
I mean, because that's what it's all about. Like, I feel like humans are put on earth to like serve one another. You know what I mean? And so
For
if I have to
sure.
like step on you to get the next bag, like, I don't, I don't think God can even like bless that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
And we're
how?
such an
Oh,
abundant thing. Like,
yeah. Like how do you expect God to or anybody to like bless or favor? Like you had to step on somebody to get to where you are. I would argue that you probably not gonna have that success for a long time.
no, as quick as you got it will probably be as quick as you lose it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Nothing built on like disingenuine and like just bad integrity can
Yeah.
withstand time. Like it just,
Yeah.
like you said, God doesn't operate like that. And I
Yeah.
think that's why a lot of blessings have worked out for me in the long run is because
Mm.
like I avoided certain situations that didn't align with where I felt in my heart I should be doing. And it's like it might take you longer, but like I'm gonna get you everything that you want because you did like the right thing in these small moments. So
Yeah.
like yeah,
Yeah.
be a good person.
Yo, we just sprinkled that. Be a good person. There you go. Yo, I appreciate you, man, for joining this podcast. Like, um, yeah, you shared a lot. You shared a lot, and I can tell, and I can already feel like this was like just like a genuine conversation because it was supposed
Yeah,
to be like an
man.
hour long. Like, it's supposed to be 45 to an hour, and we've been shooting for an hour, 36
Yeah.
minutes and counting, yo. Sorry, no, like, yeah. Um, Yo, I appreciate you, sis. Like legit, legit, man. I look up to you a lot, and I see you killing it, yo. So keep on killing it. Um, where can people like follow you, man? Where can people like see you, follow you on social media, all that stuff? Um, yeah, I need y'all to plug in and connect to her. So yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
Thank you, bro. First of all, like I appreciate you for even inviting me on the platform, man, and allowing me to like speak to your audience. I know that's like a very sacred decision. But yeah, on Instagram, Alicia Ahl underscore. So ALICIAAHL underscore. Forgetting how to spell my own name here. LinkedIn the same, full name. I'm not really on Threads and X at all as much as I should be, but definitely shout out to YouTube. My YouTube ad is actually at Millionaire Millennials. So type of Millionaire Millennials, I'm up there. And it's all pinged in my Instagram bio as well. But yeah, doing a lot of dope projects, giving back to the community. Right now, we're doing a 30-day DevOps challenge, building out some different projects using like the NBA and like soccer APIs. So feel free to tap into that. 100% free. 100% free.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, let's go get in the cloud.
Hey, let's go get in the cloud. I remember like telling my mom like, I was like, "Hey, mom," I think she asked me some like a question like where to like store her pictures or whatever. And I was like, "Oh, mom, let's just store it to the cloud." She's like, "What cloud?" I was like, "To
What
the
cloud?
cloud." She's like, "What cloud?" I'm like, "Mom, get out of here,
This magical place.
bro." This magical place, yo, like the cloud.
The
Yo,
cloud.
we out of here, man. Yeah, it's been a great I don't want to call it an interview. It's been like a great conversation, yo. And I
Yeah.
got to have you back. Yeah, I'm gonna have you back some way, some form. And that thing you was working on, please, let's get it.
Uh,
You know what I'm talking about. Let's get it, man, because the world got to know it.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
I'm definitely gonna get to it for sure.
Legit. Yo, I appreciate you. I'm gonna let you go. Yeah, we out.
Nah, man. Signing out. Decoded
Yes,
stories.
man. Let's go.